everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Heart Shaker Window Slimline card using the Heart Full of Love stamp set along with October's stamp of the month. You can use any sentiment along with the Heart Shaker Window thin cuts, the Diagonal Stripe Slimline thin cuts, a piece of the mix-in papers from November and December, and a variety of cardstock colors, along with ballerina glitter cardstock. Okay, so I'm using raspberry, and I'm going to cut a piece large enough to use the Diagonal Stripe thin Slimline thin cut. And if you haven't used this yet, it's a little bit longer than a standard cutting plate for your Big Shot. So this is the trick to get it to work. You secure it down with purple tape or washi tape and run it through part of the way, and then keep the die in place on your cardstock and then shift it so that you can capture the rest of that amount of die that was not, that didn't cut yet. And then you run it through again, okay? So I'm going to poke this out with my piercing tool and pull it out of the die, and then poke out all the extra pieces. And then I'm going to run this piece of mix-in paper through as well. So I'm going to do the same thing and run it through using the die. So I'm going to secure it down and then run it through part of the way, and then I'm going to shift everything so that I can run it through again and get the rest of that cut. Okay. All right, so I'll poke that out using the piercing tool and get all of my bits out of the way and cleaned up. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to do some stamping. Okay. So I'm going to use the light side of Lemonade, and I'm going to stamp this inner die that says love you in a heart. And I've put it in my Misty just to make sure that it keeps that correct shape of the heart. And I just want to leave enough room on my piece of Lemonade cardstock to be able to use my larger heart die around, to cut around this stamped sentiment. It's going to be the backing of my shaker. Okay, so I'm stamping that in raspberry ink, and then I'm using the sentiment Happy Anniversary from the October stamp of the month, but really you can choose any sentiment that you'd like to use. Happy Valentine's Day, I love you, miss you, whatever you want to go with that love you stamped on the inside of your shaker die. So I've stamped this sentiment, and then I'm just going to fussy cut everything out, and I'm leaving a tiny white border around that banner shape. Okay, so now it's time to cut our heart shapes. So this is actually it's going to be the back of the shaker, and so that's why it's larger than the stamped portion. So I'm cutting that out and leaving an equal amount of room all the way around that stamped image. And then I'm going to use some ballerina glitter paper, and I'm going to stamp the overlay of the heart shape. I mean, cut out the overlay of the heart shape using that thin cut. And that's going to go on top of my shaker portion on the acetate. Okay, so let's build the base of the card. So I'm flipping over the raspberry cardstock so that the diagonals are an opposite way of the top diagonal lines, so that I have a crisscross effect. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my card base for the background so that the white will show through. And I'm going to glue this down using Aqua Tombow, making sure that my diagonal lines are going in the right direction. And then I'm going to glue the piece of pink mix-in paper on top. And this mix-in paper has teensy tiny little hearts printed on it. Okay, let's build our shaker. So this is the heart acetate and foam, and I've removed just a bit of that protective coating off of the acetate to get it started, and then I'm going to remove the the heart foam from the backing. So I've got the top portion of the protective coating still on there, and I've just removed the sticky from the back, and I'm going to lay that down on my heart. And then I'm going to take some, this is a powder tool to remove the stick from the inside of the heart so that all of the sequins and bits that I put inside my shaker don't stick to it. You can also use your anti-static powder tool and tap it on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to use some of the white bitty beads and then also some of these heart-shaped sequins. It's from a company called by Buttons Galore More. And so I'm going to sprinkle some of those on the inside of my shaker. And they're very staticky, so you have to fuss with them a bit. And then I'll sprinkle some of those bitty beads in there. I'm just going to use the white ones, just a little pinch. Okay, so now I'm going to take that protective coating off of the top part of the foam. And then I'm going to lay my acetate heart on top of it. And once I get it down, I'm going to peel off that protective coating from the acetate. Okay, so in retrospect, I should have put some double-sided tape down on this glitter paper before I ran it through my Big Shot, but I wound up using score tape, and that worked. So I'm going to lay that on top of everything, and that completes my little shaker heart. Okay, so this is going to go on the front of the card, kind of off center, and I'm going to attach that with score tape as well. So I'm going to place that down, and then these the foam shaker, or the shaker foam, the inside of your heart, those bits are just extra, and you can use them on other projects. And I'm just going to use some of that foam tape just on the right side of my sentiment, and then on the left side I'm going to use some score tape so that the happy part of it is going to get attached to the shaker window, and then the rest of it's going to float off the side. So I want everything to be at the same level, so that's why I'm using both types of adhesive. Okay, and then for some extra interest on the card, I'm going to use some of these wood hearts, and I'm going to scatter a few of those around, and they kind of disappeared, leaving them the wood color. And so I'm going to paint them with shimmer brushes. So I've chosen the ones that I'm going to use, and then I've got raspberry and scarlet shimmer brushes, and I'm going to paint my wood hearts using the shimmer. So it's really pretty raspberry and glittery and shimmery and sparkly. So I'm going to paint all of these guys. And at first I was going to use, I think this is blush or another light pink color, but it disappeared. So ultimately I decided on scarlet and raspberry for my two colors. And it's kind of hard to tell on the video, but you can tell a difference between the two colors. One is super dark. So, and they both look good. So I'm going to paint all of these. And then I'll get them attached to my card front using glue dots. So all of these supplies, with the exception of the October stamp of the month, are available in my online store. You can go to the URL in the upper right corner of your screen. And excuse me, I will also make a list of supplies with links in the description below. So there's my finished card. I think it turned out cute. I like that crisscross background. Pretty cool. So I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And thanks for watching.